Zelle, on Chase, you have like those Zelle Chase payments. It's like Venmo kind of, but through the bank. Are we able to do that to the bank, to the HOA account? Or no?
I have no. Not as far as I know. I
think it would be connected to an email address, and then it would probably be connected to your unless we have like an email address that's for the homeowners association. Otherwise, it'd be your personal email.
I don't know. Like I personally, as a treasurer, feel uncomfortable with putting up too many facilities or facilitate too much Zelle and Venmo in and out of the account, because I know with Venmo too, you can both pay and request money. I think that's just opening up the gates for, possible errors. If people just continue with their common practice on either sending a check or wiring money to the HOA account when they need to pay their HOA dues, and then we as a general practice, when the HOA pays bills, that they do that via bill pay. I don't like all those electronic things. My kid takes the phone. I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
I mean, it's just a safety thing. I mean, yes, it might be more convenient in one way, but in the end, it's probably more convenient that we keep the HOA account secure and safe. And thus, that means if we don't use all these things to have connections to the HOA account, then our HOA account info and routing info won't be on everybody's phone or computer or whatever. So we need to keep that limited, because the bank did say, anybody could do this. They might do it, by accident a bunch of times, and then, if luckily, both Julia and Nora caught this, so that's great. So we're not going to do a separate account. I understand. So we'll cross that off. But there's a recommendation.
And stay as old-fashioned as possible when it comes to monies in and out of the HOA account. None of all of these apps.
Okay, that's the recommendation.
Unless if a treasurer in the future wants to take on that, that can be tabled for another discussion. But
okay, very good. All right, so number 2, review of the deed percentage of ownership of common property. The backyard is common element. The owners acknowledged as such. Unit 2's advertisement for sale mistakenly stated the backyard was a limited common element. Unit 2 requested that their broker fix the advertisement. The reason that this is on as new business is because what's happened in the past, and Charles mentioned this to me, and I wish he was here in this meeting, is that I remember when Julia and Atai bought the place, and Julia and Atai were like, well, I thought the backyard was ours. And if it wasn't made clear, we thought at the time that people made clear to Eric DeLone, and everybody made clear to everyone involved, meaning the banks and everything like that, and the buyers, that the backyard was owned by all. And so I just wanted to make sure that, Unit 2 understands that they're or told the broker to fix the advertisement, but we don't want the same thing to happen with the unit owners that are coming in.
Richard, this is not necessary. We also didn't want it to happen. That's why we made sure that everything was done properly. We don't want the new people who coming in to have the same problems that we had, because the last 4 years were horrible. And we made sure that everything was fixed and that they know everything is a common element. It's not an issue. I don't think that this needs to be in Hebrew we say hofel. It doesn't need to be dug up.
No, actually it does, and I'll tell you why. Because this is only because it was advertised on the web in different areas. And so somebody can say, well, you guys never addressed this and you guys let this happen. So you guys are basically guilty for not letting us know X, Y, or Z. And so I wanted to make sure that it was put in that the error was on the broker's side, to put it in the minutes so that it could be, memorialized, so there's no question. Okay?
You wrote it. We said it. Everything's done. It was changed.
Yeah.
Perfect. Everyone knows.
You and I understand this. This is for future people, so they can look back and they can say that. Okay, I see. Yeah, it was.
And I mean, the financial statements have also been, updated with proper footnotes and everything like that. when I believe that you guys bought, it was via Eric, and I don't know. I think Eric was both the broker and the seller. I don't know, and Paula was the treasurer. So, we as an association have tried to clarify those issues, I think, and make sure that the proper.
No, I agree, and we did try to clarify it, I think, when the bonds were selling their unit. So we were surprised to see that the new notes, you put back the footnote that was previously there, and without, we didn't know until we actually saw it. So we weren't really sure why it was put back, especially because the note that we agreed upon
with the bonds. With the bonds, we agreed upon that we were going to add
what note he's talking about. Let Ittai say what note he's talking about. I don't know what note he's talking about.
Yeah, basically, when the bonds were buying their apartment, there was a footnote on the financials, which was the reason that this whole eruption happened in the fall. And we all agreed that the footnote, they're both the footnotes on the financials, one that we agreed upon and one that was there previously. The one we agreed upon was the one that says something along the lines of that there was a vote in 2012, but that the owners have been in discussion for the past, 6 years on trying to find a resolution that makes everyone based off of the meeting notes from last year. And what Itai is saying is we noticed that on the financials that Nora has now put back the old note in accompaniment of what the note that all of us agreed on. So we're just a little.
That was what we agreed upon. That's what we agreed upon with Taylor's sale. Was that we were going to add an additional note. We cannot take off the old note.
Can't take off the old note. Everything just goes consecutively down.
We added. That was what was agreed upon with Taylor. Was to add.
Right. Well, Nora, can I? Wait. Yeah. I thought we agreed upon not replacing a note, but adding a note of clarification in terms of what we were discussing. The vote that was taken stays because that was an official vote. But then we add the note that we were discussing.
Well, we're looking at.
Wait, Nora. I'm sorry, I don't know who's talking, but let me just finish. So if you have a question to why the former thing wasn't removed, it's just the same way when I'm copying different.
We're looking at the financials that were sent in the bond sale, and the old note was removed. I'm looking at them right in front of my face. So what was sent during the bond sale is not the same as what the financials say right now.
No.
No. I'll send you a screenshot of what the financials like that were sent.
Julia, the spreadsheet went back and forth, but it was never approved by all the officers in regards to, yes, there was a copy where it says it was removed, but that's not what we all agreed on. That was something that you guys proposed. So that's a difference. So if you're going to send out something, yes, there was a spreadsheet, right? And then you guys made a proposal. And this is what I learned from the bonds. And so you can basically tell me or not. You guys did not want it in there, and you were basically saying that should not be in there.
We didn't want what in there?
You didn't want the history
that
from
false.
2012.
That's false. That is absolutely false.
Okay.
Every record I
had
so then
on there had a footnote saying that it was there,
but that there was a discussion that was being that ever since that I never ever removed it completely. All I did was add onto it saying that there was a vote in 2012, but that now there was a discussion about what it would look like, and that one of the options was that there would be a rooftop deck instead of backyard deck. I never removed it completely from the spreadsheet, and what was agreed upon is the first footnote and not the second one that's on the financials now.
You can't take off a footnote that has already been agreed upon by previous owners, Julia.
Yeah, I would like to.
So then why was it sent during the bond sale that it was removed?
No, it wasn't removed during the bond sale.
I don't understand how you think that. Like you're saying that you have a screenshot. What I'm trying to tell you is I know what I sent to the bonds. I know what I sent to the attorneys for Jazz and what the bond, I had whatever. I don't know what the bond sent you or whatever, but all I did was we prepared what we prepared, and we sent that in a zip file with all the minutes to Unit 3's lawyers. Yes.
It's fine. Let's move on. It doesn't matter. They already saw everything. Our buyers. Let's just move on.
What do you mean they already saw everything? We haven't received any requests from your buyers.
We sent them all of our records that we had.